Before this video begins, I need to warn you. If you have a history of epilepsy or are sensitive to bright flashing lights, don't watch the footage. Listen to the video, but don't watch what's on screen because you might have a seizure. Crab Champions is chaos and insanity in its purest form. But what is Crab Champions? Crab Champions is an early access roguelite third-person shooter with a concept that is insanely simple. Kill everything, get rewards, move to the next island, rinse and repeat. You play as a crab with a gun that goes to different islands and slaughters everything that isn't you or your friends. That's all Crab Champions truly is at its core. It works best as a co-op game, honestly. Let's talk about how a run works. You start in the lobby where you can choose your weapon, melee, and grenade ability. When you start playing, you only have access to two different guns, the auto rifle and the dual shotguns, and no other abilities except your basic melee and grenade. To unlock more, you just have to do runs and defeat bosses. Each time you defeat a boss, they will drop at least one key, and if you decide to go back to the lobby, you can use that key on this stone to randomly unlock a new weapon, melee attack, or grenade. Once you've unlocked everything, you just get like a random boost for the next run. Once you've selected your weapon, melee, and grenades, you go to this stone to set up your difficulty. There are 3 base difficulties, but you can add different modifiers to make the run even harder. After selecting the difficulty and modifiers, you head over here to start your run. And this is where the chaos and insanity starts. First, let's talk about the insanity.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy.
And that clip kind of defines Crab Champions. Once loaded in, you will be attacked by a lot of enemies and you have to kill them all to clear the level. Once cleared, a damage chest will drop because that's what always drops on the first level of a biome. Then at least 2 different portals will show up behind your chest. These portals represent the rewards you'll get for clearing the next island. You select one of the portals, kill everything, get a reward that pertains to that portal, then select another portal, and rinse and repeat. Kind of where the insanity is coming in. There are also side objectives on islands sometimes, like don't get hit for a flawless or kill X number of enemies yourself, and that will give you extra rewards or like an extra chest. Then every time you complete a boss level, you have the choice of quitting or looping through the islands again, but with a higher quantity of tougher enemies. This can go on for as long as you can survive. That's the insanity part of the game, doing the same thing over and over again. You're gonna get the same result, just a little bit tweaked. Then there's also the chaos part that comes into it. It's within the items that you get from the rewards and the shop that cause the chaos. These items range from economy items that help you earn points, which can be used to buy more power-ups at the shop on every 8th island, to items that fundamentally change how your weapon, grenades, and melee fundamentally work. Like, there are a lot of different power-ups and a lot of upgrades that you can get. By the time you hit the 3rd looping cycle, you'll barely know what's going on screen. With the amount of particle effects from your shots and grenades going off, you have no clue what is actually going on, especially when there's 3 other people also using stuff that causes massive particle effects. Like, the game is insanely fun and fast-paced, but it also has its issues. One of the issues I've run into a few times is I've had the HUD break a lot. Like, it tells me that I'm on island 50 when I'm on like island 5. Or when I'm even in the lobby, it'll tell me that for the whole run. Or it doesn't tell me what the challenge for that level is. If it is like a flawless level or if there's like extra enemies or whatever, it doesn't tell me that. It doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened enough times that it's like, yeah, I can tell why this is early access. Then we've also had Chase crash a couple of times in the latest run, like right at the end of it. because of all of the particle effects from, you know, all 4 of us shooting and throwing grenades and moving around super fast.
Oh my god.
I disconnected.
Oh no. No.
We gotta restart this whole section.
Alright. Fuck. Returning to lobby.
That's part of the inherent problem with the game. The particle systems are overstimulating and overwhelming the senses. When you're far enough in to have a lot of elemental effects going off and causing a shit ton of particles, it just overwhelms everything. And you have no clue what is even happening around you, especially with 3 other players in the game. You see damage numbers and elemental effects, and that's it. Like, I like seeing all the particle effects early on, but later in the game, it just gets to be way too much. So the game is not without its early access faults, but I feel those can be overlooked because of how fun and dumb this game is. Like, it's fun seeing all the particles and all the damage and everything that you're doing, but as you get more and more power-ups and you get later on in the game, it just starts to get to be too much. Like I said, by the third loop, this is an epileptic's fever dream. This wouldn't just give an epileptic a seizure. This would probably stop their whole heart just watching this. That's how intense it can get. And for my rating system, I would probably put Crab Champions in both I love it and interesting and fun, but with some problems. Like, I love the game as a multiplayer co-op shooter, but I don't think it's as fun solo. Like, I've tried playing it solo, and it just wasn't hitting the same level of insanity and stuff that co-op did. And that insanity and chaos is what kind of makes it fun. Overall, I think Crab Champions has really good movement and shooting with just the right amount of randomness and kookiness for a fun multiple hours play session. Because, you know, we normally are hitting like 4 to 5 hours in a single run. And we're not dying. We could keep going for a long time. It's just we're at the point of like, okay, we're kind of bored with it now for this run. Let's try another run later. Like I said, I do really like the game as like a co-op, early access, multiplayer shooter. Because it's just stupid and it's fun. And those are my thoughts on Crab Champions. Let me know in the comments if you've played Crab Champions and what your thoughts are on the game. But other than that, please do all the algorithm stuff. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and most importantly, have a royal day or night.